Alright guys, here we go. This is my first attempt at doing a recording here. So you guys are just going to see my voice because I can't quite get the camera to work right now. But we're going to go through the assignment that you guys did yesterday on page 197, solving inequalities with variables on both sides. So we're going to do this together as a class, and if you need to, you just hit pause and it'll stop, and then it'll give you guys a chance to do what we need to do next. So first of all, do you all have a calculator with you? So do you have your calculator and your assignment out? All right, here we go. First step that we're going to do is we need to get our letters together. So we are going to move y's together, and we do that by doing inverse operations, and we are going to subtract y from both sides. So 7y minus 1y is 6y, and then we still have plus 1 less than or equal to negative 5. Okay, what do we need to do next to get the variable y by itself? We need to move the plus 1, and we do that by doing the inverse operation, which is subtracting 1 from both sides. So we get 6y is less than or equal to negative 6. Now we need to focus on the number that's in front of y, and that says 6 times y, so the inverse operation would be to divide by 6. Do we have to flip our inequality sign, or does it stay the same? Yep, it stays the same because we are dividing by a positive number. Now if we're going to graph this, is it going to be an open or closed circle at negative 1? Yep, we're going to have a negative, and we're going to have a closed circle, and we're going to shade to the left. All right, we need to get our y's, we need to get our variables together, and so we do that by adding r to both sides. Negative 2r, leave your inequality, is less than 10. Now, how do we move the negative 2 away from the r? That is multiplication, opposite or inverse operation. We're going to divide by negative 2. And when we divide by a negative number, what do we do to our inequality? We flip our sign. Would it be open or closed? Open, and we're going to shade to the right. Remember, we always read inequalities by starting at the letter. All right, going on to number 6. The first thing we're always going to do is get our letters together. So we're going to subtract 1.5x from both sides. And remember, you guys can use your calculators. So 4.5 minus 1.5 is going to be 3x. We're just going to copy down the problem, the rest of it just as is. Okay, what is the next thing we need to do to get x by itself? We need to add 3.8 to both sides. So we have 3x. Because we are adding, we do not flip our signs. And now, what is 3.8 minus 2.3? So we get a positive 1.5. Now what do we do to get x by itself? We are going to divide both sides by 3. Do we have to worry about flipping our sign at all? Nope, we don't have to worry about flipping our sign because we divided by a positive number. So x is greater than or equal to 0.5. We'd have a closed circle at 0.5, and we are going to shade to... All right, number 8 brings us to a more complicated problem because we've got parentheses here, and what property does it make us think of? Yep, we are going to do the distributive property. So 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times x is 5x. Leave your inequality system. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times x is 3x. All right, now that we've done the distributive property, what is the next thing that we need to do? We need to get our letters together by doing inverse operations. So we're either going to add or subtract. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. So we have 20 plus 2x is less than or equal to 6. All right, now we've got two numbers that are by the x. So what do we need to move first, the 20 or the 2? So we're going to subtract 20 from both sides. So we have 2x is less than or equal to negative 14. All right, what number is by the x? Okay, we have a 2, and that says 2 times x. So what is the inverse operation of multiplication? So we're going to divide by 2. Do we need to flip our inequality sign? No, we don't need to flip because we are dividing by a positive number. Now for graphing purposes, we would have a closed circle, and we're going to shade to the left. All right, moving on to number 10. Again, the first thing we see is some parentheses. So what do we have to do for the parentheses? Is the distributive property. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times a negative x is negative 2x is less than 4x. All right, the first thing we want to do now is get our letters on the same side so that we get them together. We're going to do that by inverse operation. So I see a negative 2x. What is an inverse of a negative 2x? Would be a positive 2x. So we have 12 is less than 6x. Okay, now the number that's in front of x is 6. So we're going to divide both sides by 6. So 2. Now, do we keep the same symbol or flip? We did divide. We divided by a positive, so no flipping. Okay, let's graph this one just to double check and make sure we're doing things right. So make your number line. We have 0, and we've got the number 2. Now read that to me, and remember, what do we start with? We always start with the variable. So start with the x. X is, that's the big end of the symbol, so we are at greater than, so at 2, we are going to go to the bigger numbers, greater than. And it is going to be an open circle because we do not have the equal sign underneath it. Number 12. Ooh, we've got some fractions in here, but we do it exactly the same way. Let's get our letters together. So we're going to do that by subtracting 1/4 f from both sides. I'm going to subtract 3/4 at the same time. So 1/2 minus 1/4. Now remember, you guys can use your calculators if you need to. All right, what does this say? 1, and what does that symbol mean? 1 divided by 4. What is the inverse operation of dividing by 4? So we are going to multiply both sides by 4. Remember, keep those on top. So 4 on top, 4 on the bottom cancels. So we have f is greater than or equal to, and on the right-hand side, 4 on the bottom, 4 on top, cancel. So now we have a negative 3. All right, here we go, number 14. So we see the parentheses, so that makes us think of what property? Yep, we got to do the distributive property. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 2 is a negative 4. Keep your inequality, and we have negative 2. And negative 2 times a negative x is a positive 2x. All right, now we have to get our letters together. So I'm going to do that by the inverse operation of minus 2x on both sides. And 2x minus 2x, oh, that's a 0. So we're left with negative 4. less than or equal to negative 2. And 2x minus 2x cancels out, so we have a 0. All right, now we have to ask ourselves, is negative 2 greater than negative 4? So if we need to, we can put the numbers on a number line. So we've got negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So we're going to compare negative 2 to negative 4. And the further we go left on the number line, the smaller it is. So this is a true statement. That means our final answer is all real numbers. Again, we have to get our letters together. So we're going to do that by inverse operations. We're going to subtract 4v from both sides. 4v minus 4v cancels out, so 1 less than 4v minus 4v, that cancels out, negative 7. Is 1 less than negative 7? That is a false statement. So that means there are no real solutions. All right, now we are moving on to the last problem of your homework assignment, and I see parentheses right away. So what we need to do is our distributive property. So 3 times x is 3x, minus 15 is greater than 3x. Let's get our x's together. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. Negative 15. Oh, do we need to flip that inequality sign because we subtracted? Nope, we only flip when we divide and multiply. And remember, 3x minus 3x is going to give us a 0. Now, is negative 15 greater than 0? Nope, it is not. This is a false statement. So that means we have no real solutions. All right. Hope all this helped and cleared up any questions that you guys had on 3.5. So now what we're going to do is our new homework that is going to be due tomorrow. So the rest of the time today, you guys get to work on new homework. All right, it is assignment time. Let's see if I can figure out how to change the pen here just to be creative. All right, so your new assignment is also going to be on page 198. So we're going to just turn the page 1. And for once, we are actually going to do the odds. So 27 through 47 odd. So 27, 29, 31, and you need to show your work. All right, you get the rest of the time today to work on your homework assignment. Good luck. See you guys tomorrow.